What you see behind me is PV1100G, which belongs to Airbus A320, and in today's video we'll take a look how we control intake anti-ice system. So let's take a look at it. Now we are behind of intake, and this is our anti-ice duct. Over here you can see pressure transducer, but we'll follow the anti-ice duct, which goes inside of the core, and then we have downstream anti-ice valve and upstream anti-ice valve. We'll get to those valves a little bit later on, and then we follow the line all the way under the bleed components to the 6th stage of a high pressure compressor. So the bleed air for intake anti-ice is taken from 6th stage of high pressure compressor. Now, regarding those two valves, why we have two valves? Well, the answer is simple. Again, redundancy. We have two valves because if one fails, we have always backup, and we can fly through the icing condition even if one is faulty. During normal configuration, only the valve which is upstream regulate the bleed air which goes into the intake, and the downstream is here as I said, as a backup. And the function of the one which is downstream is checked during each engine start. So whenever the engine is starting, the EEC will send the command to cycle downstream valve. Those two valves are controlled thanks to these two solenoids. This is for the upstream one, this is for the downstream solenoid, and right behind it is a pressure transducer. And today I will show you how to replace exactly these two components, and during that process I'll tell you a bit about that system. So let's start. Here is our solenoid for both Nessel anti-ice valves, and this is our transducer. First of all, I will loose a bit the pipes. The connection is over here. They're secured over here, so lose that point, and then most probably will get enough space to pull the tubes out of the place, which will give us space later on to maneuver with the solenoid and with the transducer. As the next, we'll remove the connectors from the solenoid. That's one, and the other one, and protection against the contamination. So now the lines. The top one leads to the valve which is upstream, and the bottom one leads to downstream. Now the bottom one. So it's basically very easy to remember it. Top one upstream, bottom one downstream, and transducer leads only to downstream valve. And so the downstream is not in use, is always open, and it starts to work only when the one upstream fails. And it is regularly checked during the start procedure of the engine, so it is closed and open. The upstream during flight is modulating or opening or closing whenever it is required to use intake anti-ice system. That's the difference between the valves, and we have two because of the redundancy. If one of them fails, you can block the R1 in the open position, and the R1 in this case If we deactivate the upstream, the downstream will take over the function, and this is basically the reason why we have two valves. Redundancy. We can always fly in isingle mission. Protection of the pipes to avoid any sort of ingression of unwanted materials, and now the solenoid itself. Let's start with removal. It holds on 4 bolts. So I'm starting with the bottom ones because they're harder to reach, and since there is a washer, it's better to not drop it during this process. So that's one with the washer. And 2 on the top. 1. Okay. That's it. To not lose the bolt. So here is our solenoid. Here are all the data which we need to write down, and the transducer. But that one is way easier. Only 2 bolts, 1 connector and 1 pipe. So let's do it. Again, pliers only with the soft jaws. Out. Wrench. Lose the pipe. The torque seal. Now the bolts. And screw. This is our pressure transducer. So let's install the new one. Both bolts are lubricated with compound which is stated in the AMM, and as well the union on the bottom. The thread was lubricated. And now I'll tie the bolts a bit. And meanwhile I'm installing it, let me tell you a bit about this pressure transducer. Exactly, this one is here to measure downstream valve sense line pressure. This value is then sent to EEC. We have also a second pressure transducer, which you saw before. It is located near to engine intake, and it measures the pressure from the downstream anti-ice valve all the way to the intake. And one fun fact about those two components, they're installed quite far away from the valves. Reason for that is that these valves are located near to combustion chamber, which means that around these valves you will have huge heat, and we want to avoid such effect on the components which control the functions. And these are not only 2 components which you can find so near to the fan, because most of the sensors you can find installed around this area. And I'm nearly done with the pressure transducer, so we'll install the connector and we'll move forward.
I'm just amazed how everything fits together. Oh yeah, yeah.
The difference between 2 and 3.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
not,
working like
Tight.
this, and 3
Good.
without fighting.
And now,
I'm not sure. It's
solenoid
true as well.
itself. It's important to see, you need to follow the correct way, but I guess you cannot really install it the wrong way, because then the lines will not gonna fit. And again, bolts are lubricated. It's tight. Now, 2 on the bottom. The last one. Okay, now let's install the tubes, since it's not tight yet. Again, threads are lubricated. This one went in by hand. Now the top one. And yeah, both are in. So we can tie the bolts. Tak oni chcą skończyć. Może sprawdzić ten menší najskôr. To zoberme od nich ten kľúč.
To było 300, nie?
That's a bottom one.
Tak, vrátim mu ho rovno.
Cool. Hey. Connectors. Tie the connectors. Slip. And the top one. Cool. Now torque seal.
Mi povedal jeho obľúbenú hlas.
Both components are replaced. Now we can close the sea ducts and the fan coils, and all what's remaining is test, which means that we need to push airplane out of the hangar to the run-up stand, and we'll do our test. And if you want to know how to close sea ducts and fan coils, you will find it in a separate video which I made about this topic. Link to it you will find in description below or in top right corner. So take a look. And regarding those anti-ice valves, you can dispatch one of them in open position and you don't have any limitations, and access to them is quite easy. You have these two ports. This is the upstream one and this one is a downstream, and all what you need to do is use a Phillips screwdriver, push, turn, and this cover will pop out. After that we need to use ratchet extension, exactly the quarter one, and we need to push the valve in, rotate it 270 degrees, and then release it, and the valve will lock on the position, and valve from this point remain always open. And to reactivate, we need to do the same thing in the reverse order, which means that we need to push it in, rotate it 270 degrees, release, and from this point valve is unlocked. And then whenever it is activated again, you just need to push this cable inside, and when this is done, you just place the cover on the place. You need to align it. Once it is aligned, you just need to use Phillips screwdriver, and all you need to do then push, turn, and that's it. Okay, that was a quick explanation how to deactivate this valve, and we are already on our run-up position, and we are starting the engine. Once it is on, we will do our test. After that, we press engine anti-ice valve button, which will send signal to EEC, and then EEC send analog signal to the solenoid, which controls the valve. As we discussed before, only the upstream valve is in control of opening and closing, and as well regulating of the pressure. Now I'm pointing on indication, which is over N1. That's one of the 3 possibilities how you can know that engine anti-ice is on. So it is NI over the N1. Then we have a memo message, engine anti-ice, and as well blue light on the button. We check the function several times by pressing button on and off, and once we're sure that everything is okay, we'll switch off the engine and we'll perform the leak check. That's all about this topic. If you have any questions, please write them down in the comments below, and I'll answer as soon as possible. As always, I would like to ask you to don't use this as a replacement for a maintenance manual, but always use latest documentation released by manufacturer. Big thanks to Austrian Airlines that they let me record all these videos for you. And as well, I would like to say big thanks to each and everybody who is watching my videos, and especially to members. That's all from my side. My name is Tomáš, this was Aircraft Maintenance with Zeto, and I'll see you on next video. Bye.